So this Calle 23 is a major calle in the much touted Vedado district of Havana. Oh, we're in Vedado, much more upbeat, much more modern, much more hip than the other sections. Vedado. Yikes, the names escaped me. Debe ser el mejor helada en todo el mundo.
No he visitado otros países, no le puedo.
Okay.
Yo sé que es el mejor de Cuba.
Okay, gracias. So colorful, so great of the city right behind me. Right here in Vedado, on the main Calle 23, is Paladar Don Quixote. Paladar means a privately owned restaurant named after Don Quixote. Why is it named after Don Quixote? Nice car. Nice cars. A lot of taxi, and more taxi. Getting back to, there he is, Don Quixote. The one and only Don Quixote on a horse. Who hasn't read the story of Don Quixote?
Don Quixote, written by famous Spanish novelist Miguel de Cervantes, considered by some to be the most important piece of literature ever written. The story follows the adventures of an hidalgo, which is a member of the Spanish nobility, who reads so many chivalric romances that he loses his sanity and decides to set out on his horse Rocinante to revive chivalry, undo wrongs, and bring justice to the world under the name Don Quixote de la Mancha.
One of the many mysteries of Cuba is COPPELIA in Vedado, section of Havana. I see masses of people lined up on this side, masses of people on this side, and apparently from talking to these young people who don't want to appear on video, they're all waiting for this heladeria to open up. Now, a heladeria is a place that sells ice cream. As they say in Spanish, no se puede, it's not possible. No ice cream on the face of the earth could be this good. They tell me that this happens every day. Different cultures, different customs, and there's always a political slogan. This one is of Jose Marti. Este es tiempo virtuoso y hay que fundirse en él. Jose Marti in Vedado. And the lineup goes on. Holy mackerel. This must be the world's greatest ice cream. Hey, end of the story. Señores, ¿por qué es en este cola?
Para tomar helado.
Para comer helado. ¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Una hora o?
Depende.
Depende.
Depende cuando nos toque llegar.
Debe ser el mejor helada en todo el mundo.
No he visitado otros países, no le puedo.
Okay.
Yo sé que es el mejor de Cuba.
Okay. Gracias.
Cuban cool. Good to have relatives in Miami who can send the latest in fashionable sportswear. Heladeria COPPELIA is a state-run ice cream parlor established in 1966. It has since become an institution in Havana, as you can see. It originally served an impressive 26 flavors of ice cream. However, today you'd be lucky to get 2 or 3. Its flying saucer-shaped building is one of the largest ice cream parlors in the world and can seat up to 1,000 people. It's definitely worth a visit. So did I go there? No, I did not, as I did not have 2 hours to stand around waiting for the world's best ice cream. Had I asked, I would have found out that there's a lineup for tourists where payment is to be made with CUCs, the convertible peso. The Cubans you see lined up here are paying with moneda nacional, and prices are relatively cheap.
Competition to Kentucky Fried Chicken, pollo.
When it comes to fast food in Cuba, there is no Kentucky Fried Chicken, but there is a category of restaurants called El Rapido, or pollo, meaning chicken in Spanish. They are a chain of state-run outdoor fast food restaurants found throughout Cuba. With perhaps thawing relations with the United States, can the juggernaut of American fast food restaurants be far behind? Perhaps not, but they would require payment in CUCs, the cook, which is not available to the average Cuban. So the El Rapido style of restaurant would still be in the game at a much cheaper price with payment in moneda nacional. Well, I did not eat at Pollo. Instead, I settled for my own version of Cuban fast food. I ate a lot of these: jamón, queso, ham and cheese. I got 2 of these nice ones for 20 pesos, moneda nacional, which is less than $1. Another example of living cheaply on moneda nacional is here at the Toscano Cafe, where various spaghettis are advertised. For example, tomato, 25 moneda nacional pesos, that's $1. Ham, just over $1. And you can see the rest of the selection, very, very reasonable. The most expensive, or the second most expensive, is broccoli bacon, which is about $2.50. It's the broccoli that makes it that expensive. On Calle 23, or 23rd Street, I found this store selling some typical Cuban products, all payable with cook. So, obviously, the obligatory rum that you see all over Cuba and the Cohiba cigars. Cohiba is a famous name in Cuba. I went to the Cohiba factory in Santa Clara. I also found out that Santiago de Cuba rum is the best rum in Cuba. Cuba has got great coffee, and I can't wait for the day that Cuban coffee is imported to Canada. And then, of course, Havana Club. That's all over the place. The famous Havana Club. Tobaccos are cigars in Spanish, these having the picture of Che Guevara. And one more time, the Santiago de Cuba rum over here, the Mulata, aged 7 years. So those are your typical products that tourists buy.
Right next to this pretty large handicraft market.
This Artisans Market, located in Vedado on Calle 23, is open from 8 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. And this area of Calle 23 is known as La Rampa. That's the part sloping down to the malecon.
Lovely ladies. Muy bien, señor. Lovely ladies.
Barbara and I are fans of this black and red art. We have 2 examples of it at home, but nothing as racy and trendy as this. As you can tell from this, Barbara and I are real connoisseurs of art. By the way, as you can see in the photo, Barbara scaled Mount Kilimanjaro about a year ago. I'll leave a link at the end of this vlog that will take you to day 6, the day that she reached the top of the mountain. You will find a detailed list of her adventures on Travels with Lobo under the Tanzania and South African playlist.
And the ever-present Havana Club.
You have to love this vibrant art you see all over Havana, depicting the old cars. Right there is the Floridita, the bar made famous by Ernest Hemingway. The Capitolio that I had in several of my blogs. And other scenes, and particularly Che Guevara. Che is absolutely everywhere.
So colorful, so great of the city right behind me. I see in Vedado high-rise apartment units, perhaps individual casas.
Knowledge is a wonderful thing, even if it arrives late. I now know that this is the world-famous Foxa building, constructed in 1956. At the time, it became the second largest building in the world, constructed with reinforced concrete. On the 33rd floor is the famous La Torre bar restaurant with a tremendous view of the city.
The panoramic view of Havana from La Torre, 31st floor from La Torre. There's the Hotel Nacional.
Just a little bit of history about the building. In the 1960s, after the revolution, the owners of the residential and commercial units had their properties nationalized by the current government. In the 1970s, the building housed Soviet and Eastern Bloc specialists. After a renovation in 2000, the building was given over to temporary housing for foreign guest workers, primarily from Venezuela.
One of my objectives in Vedado was to find the leafy neighborhoods. Those were the words used by my colleague at the discussion group, seniors discussion group in Victoria, British Columbia, which he compared with the Fairfield section of Victoria. Great architecture over and over again in Cuba. Look at that.
Join me next Friday as I visit the Hotel Nacional and the Habana Libre Hotel. Thank you for viewing.